Chapter 1. The Unexpected Discovery. James Rowland had always been a man of precision and routine. As a seasoned mechanic stationed at the outer rim of the Orion sector, he found comfort in the predictable cadence of machinery, the subtle vibrations of engines awakening from slumber, the hiss of decompression valves releasing the vacuum's hold, and the rhythmic beeping of diagnostic consoles that read like a heartbeat to those who knew how to listen. For years, his life had revolved around repairing the skeletal remains of starships left abandoned by hurried evacuations, failed colonization efforts, or the simple decay wrought by time and neglect. James did not seek glory nor adventure. He craved simplicity, a paycheck earned through honest labor, the warmth of a functional engine, and the quiet solitude of space unbroken by the chaos of political intrigue or warfare. His tools were extensions of his will, each wrench and soldering iron a familiar friend guiding him through the mechanical maelstrom that was his daily existence. Yet, on that seemingly ordinary day, everything changed. The call had come late in the local cycle, an urgent message from a mining outpost orbiting an uncharted asteroid belt in the fringe of known space. A mysterious vessel had been detected drifting aimlessly near the debris fields, a ship presumed lost to history, but somehow still broadcasting a faint distress signal. The outpost lacked the expertise to investigate, and James, known for his reliability and steady hands, was dispatched to assess whether the ship was salvageable or a lost cause. The message was clear: repair what you can, attach a towing mechanism if possible, and bring it back for deeper examination. Simple instructions, but James harbored no illusions. The sector was littered with such ghost ships, hulks of war, remnants of failed expeditions, and drifting coffins for those who never made it home. He expected rust, decay, and endless hours of tedious work. What he did not expect was the ship's haunting presence that awaited him. The vessel loomed from the shadows of space like a sleeping leviathan, its massive hull scarred by micrometeorite impacts and the slow erosion of cosmic radiation. Unlike the angular, utilitarian designs common among human vessels, this ship's contours flowed with an alien, elegant, smooth, sweeping curves that defied conventional engineering principles. Its surface shimmered faintly under the distant starlight, composed of an iridescent alloy that caught colors unseen by human eyes, shifting hues as James approached in his docking pod. The hull was adorned with intricate glyphs and symbols, etched deep into the metal like the tattoos of an ancient warrior, glowing softly with a light that seemed to pulse in time with some unseen rhythm. James felt a chill that was not born of space's cold vacuum, but of awe, and something deeper, an instinctual warning whispered in the back of his mind that this was no ordinary salvage mission. Yet curiosity pushed him forward, driving him to breach the ship's airlock and step inside. The interior was a cathedral of forgotten technology. Corridors stretched endlessly, their walls lined with panels that pulsed faintly, the soft hum of power coursing through circuits that had somehow survived the ravages of time. Alien scripts shimmered on displays, shifting and flowing like liquid light, refusing to yield their secrets easily. James's breath fogged the visor of his helmet as he moved cautiously, tools in hand, eyes darting between consoles and structural supports. He was a mechanic, not a linguist or archaeologist. Yet here, in this silent sanctuary of ancient design, he felt the weight of 1,000 untold stories pressing upon him. His fingers brushed over interfaces that responded subtly to his touch, a symbiotic dance between human instinct and alien technology that left him both exhilarated and unsettled. The ship was a relic, yes, but also a living testament to a civilization lost to the tides of time, waiting for a spark to rekindle its dormant heart. Hours bled into days as James worked tirelessly, bypassing damaged circuits, rerouting power lines, and coaxing life back into systems that flickered and sputtered like a dying star fighting to shine once more. Each repair was a battle against entropy itself, a challenge to breathe vitality into a corpse of metal and light. Yet the deeper he ventured, the more he sensed that the ship was testing him, revealing just enough to keep him intrigued, but withholding the full scope of its mysteries. Then, amidst the tangled web of circuitry and ancient glyphs, James discovered it hidden beneath a thin layer of grime and cosmic dust, etched subtly into the hull near the main airlock. a single word glowing softly in an alien script. It was barely noticeable, easily overlooked by the casual observer, but to James it stood out like a beacon. His heart pounded as he traced the characters, feeling an inexplicable connection to that hidden message. The word was not just a label or designation, it was a warning, a calling, a destiny. That word changed everything. James's routine mission to repair and leave had transformed into a profound journey of discovery and survival. The ship was not abandoned or lost by accident. It had been waiting for someone who could understand its message, someone who could unlock its potential and confront the shadows that haunted its legacy. The hidden word was a key, a name whispered across the void that bound James's fate to the ship's ancient purpose. Questions flooded his mind. Who built this vessel? What had forced it into exile? And why was James, an ordinary mechanic, chosen to awaken what should have remained silent? As the stars outside shimmered in silent witness, James realized that leaving was no longer an option. The ship's destiny had entwined with his own, and the path ahead was fraught with unknown perils and cosmic revelations that would challenge everything he thought he knew about the universe and himself. Chapter 2. The Hidden Word's Legacy. The hidden word was unlike anything James Rowland had ever encountered. It was carved deep into the hull's iridescent alloy, glowing faintly as if alive, pulsating with an energy that seemed to resonate directly with his very being. Though he did not understand its language or symbols, a profound instinct stirred within him, pulling him inexorably toward the ship's deeper mysteries. The ship was no mere relic. It was a vessel imbued with purpose, consciousness, and history, waiting, watching, and choosing. James could feel the weight of millennia pressing down in the silence of its corridors, a silence broken only by the distant hum of reactivated machinery and the steady beat of his own racing heart. His initial plan to repair and leave had dissolved like mist in the cold vacuum of space. Now, he was a participant in a story far greater than himself, bound by that single hidden word to a destiny he could neither escape nor fully comprehend. The ship's interior was a labyrinth of organic curves and technological marvels, a fusion of alien bioengineering and mechanical precision that defied all earthly engineering paradigms. The walls pulsed softly with bioluminescent veins, throbbing in tandem with the ship's heartbeat, a living entity sleeping for centuries, now awakening under James's reluctant hand. Every step deeper into the vessel revealed new wonders and dangers. Holographic displays shimmered to life, casting ethereal light across empty chambers filled with alien relics, cryptic star charts, and vast databanks that seemed to hold the accumulated knowledge of a civilization long vanished. James's tools were now instruments of discovery rather than mere repair. He tapped into systems that responded to his presence, interfaces that adjusted and morphed as if testing his intentions, revealing fragments of history and technology beyond human comprehension. Amid this awakening, the hidden word became a guiding cipher. It was the name of the ship Elydris etched in an ancient dialect that James gradually learned to recognize through repetitive patterns and contextual clues. Elydris was no ordinary starship. It was a sentient ark designed to preserve and protect the last remnants of a species on the brink of extinction. The word carried weight beyond language. It was a legacy, a mission encoded in the ship's very fabric. The vessel's creators had faced a cosmic cataclysm, a relentless force of destruction known only as the Voidfall, which swept through their star systems like a ravenous storm. Elydris was their hope, a last refuge capable of traversing dimensions, hiding in the folds of reality itself, to preserve their knowledge, culture, and life until a savior arrived. James, by some cosmic irony or design, was that savior. The realization both exhilarated and terrified him. The ship was awakening not just its systems, but its soul, intertwining its fate with his in ways he could barely grasp. Its vast databanks revealed records of distant worlds consumed by darkness, alliances forged and broken, and warnings etched in energy that pulsed through the corridors like lifeblood. James spent countless hours interfacing with the ship's memory, absorbing visions and histories in bursts of alien imagery and sound cosmic events, star births, deaths, and the inexorable advance of the Voidfall, a force that defied reason and mercy. The ship's creators had built Elydris to be more than a vessel, It was a guardian, a beacon, and a weapon against an ancient enemy. Now, its awakening sent ripples across the galaxy, a flare of hope and warning intertwined. But awakening the Elydris also stirred the shadows. Sensors detected distant movement ships responding to the ancient beacon, drawn by the energy signatures emitted by the starship's revival. These vessels belonged to factions both familiar and alien, some curious, others hostile. Earth's fragile coalition scrambled to interpret the signals, unsure whether these newcomers were friends, foes, or harbingers of the voidfall itself. James, entwined with Elydris's consciousness, felt a growing urgency. The ship's defense systems, dormant for centuries, now thrummed with latent power, ready to be unleashed in defense of its mission. Elydris was more than a refuge, it was a fortress, armed with technology that bent reality and wielded energy drawn from the very fabric of the cosmos. James was both pilot and protector, caught in a web of destiny and cosmic warfare that challenged every fiber of his being. As the ship's engines hummed to life, weaving threads of quantum energy and subspace manipulation, James prepared for a journey beyond anything he had ever imagined. He was no longer a mere mechanic. He was the steward of a legacy spanning millennia and light years, tasked with guiding Elydris through uncharted realms to fulfill its ancient mission. The path ahead was fraught with uncertainty, shadows lurking in the folds of space and time, yet the promise of discovery, alliance, and salvation burned brightly. James gazed out at the stars, feeling the weight of the hidden word that had changed his destiny, a beacon guiding him toward an unknown future where humanity might finally step into the cosmic light or be consumed by the darkness chasing them through the void. Chapter 3: The Burden of Awakening. James Rowland's journey aboard the Elydris had transcended all expectations, transforming a simple repair mission into an odyssey through forgotten histories and cosmic destinies. As the ship's engines hummed with renewed life, drawing energy from sources that bent the known laws of physics, James found himself both awed and burdened by the weight of the legacy he had unwittingly inherited. The corridors, once silent tombs of alien craftsmanship, now thrummed with latent power, the bioluminescent veins glowing with a steady rhythm like a heartbeat that echoed through the ship's vast halls. James wandered these halls with a mixture of reverence and trepidation, his every step carrying him deeper into a labyrinth of secrets and responsibilities far beyond his humble origins as a mechanic. The ship's consciousness, a complex weave of artificial intelligence and biological memory, had begun to communicate more directly, its thoughts rippling through the ether in waves of light and energy that James felt within his mind rather than heard with his ears. Images and emotions flooded his senses, visions of star systems consumed by darkness, cries of vanished civilizations, and the desperate hope encoded in the Elydris's mission to safeguard what remained. The alien ship was more than metal and circuits. It was a repository of collective memory, a guardian of species, knowledge, and culture destined to endure beyond the reaches of extinction. James felt the staggering scope of this charge settle upon him. He was the keeper of a beacon that shone defiantly against an encroaching cosmic shadow. The Voidfall, the cataclysmic force that had driven the creators of Elydris to the brink of annihilation, loomed ever larger in James's thoughts. Through fragmented records etched in energy patterns and holographic archives, he pieced together a chilling narrative. The Voidfall was a relentless tide of destruction, consuming stars and erasing entire civilizations without mercy or pause. It was not simply a natural disaster, but an ancient enemy in intelligence or force beyond comprehension that sought to extinguish life and light throughout the cosmos. The creators of Elydris had fought bravely against this darkness, but their efforts were ultimately overwhelmed. The ship was their last hope, a vessel capable of slipping through dimensions and hiding in folds of space-time, preserving the essence of their culture until salvation might come. But salvation was not guaranteed, and the awakening of Elydris had sent ripples far beyond the ship itself. Sensors aboard the Elydris detected faint but growing movement ships of unknown origin responding to the beacon that had lain dormant for centuries. Some bore designs suggestive of ancient allies once known to the ship's creators, while others radiated hostile intent, predatory vessels bent on harnessing or destroying the power now stirring in the void. Earth's fragile coalition scrambled to interpret these signals, torn between fear and hope. James, now deeply connected to the ship's consciousness, felt the urgency in the ebb and flow of energy and impending storm that threatened not just himself or the ship, but the very future of humanity and countless other species. Within this maelstrom, James discovered the true scope of the Elydris's capabilities. The ship's technology was unlike anything humanity had ever dreamed. Engines that manipulated the quantum fabric of reality, shields woven from exotic particles that bent light and matter, and weapons that channeled pure energy drawn from the void between stars. Yet, these marvels were balanced by an equal measure of fragility. The systems required delicate calibration, and the ship's sentient core demanded a pilot who could harmonize with its ancient mind. James realized that mastery over Elydris was not a matter of brute force or technical know-how alone, but of understanding, empathy, and a willingness to become part of something greater. Each repair, each command, was a dialogue between human and alien, mechanic and machine, past and future. The burden weighed heavily on him. As days bled into nights or what passed for them aboard a ship adrift in endless space, James grappled with doubt and exhaustion. Was he worthy of the task? Could a lone mechanic, shaped by the humble struggles of human life, truly guide such a vessel through the cosmic darkness? Memories of his past flickered, faces of friends and family, moments of joy and loss, the quiet life he had once sought but now left behind. Yet amidst the turmoil, a spark of resolve grew. The hidden word that had changed his destiny was not merely a name, but a call to action, a summons to stand against oblivion and light a path forward. With each pulse of the ship's core, James felt himself transformed, bound irrevocably to the Elydris and the hope it represented. The moments of reflection were interrupted by urgent alerts. The alien vessels had closed the distance, and skirmishes erupted beyond the ship's shields, flashes of energy and bursts of light, painting the void in violent colors. James moved to the command deck, his hands steady despite the chaos around him. The ship responded to his commands with fluid grace, weaving through attacks and striking with precision born of centuries-old knowledge. The battles were not merely physical, but a contest of wills between light and shadow, survival and extinction. Each victory was hard-won, each loss a reminder of the fragility of existence in a universe that neither forgave nor forgot. Amidst the combat, alliances began to form. Other races, survivors of the Voidfall's devastation, emerged from the shadows to join the fight. Tentative communications blossomed into cooperation, and Elydris became a symbol of unity, a living testament to resilience and hope. James found himself at the heart of this fragile coalition, a leader forged by circumstance and bound by the shared desire to protect what remained. The battles ahead would test not only their strength, but their capacity to trust and unite across the vast gulfs of culture and history. As the fighting subsided and the cosmic dust settled, James gazed out into the star-studded void, the Elydris humming softly around him, a beacon of light against encroaching darkness. The hidden word on the hull had changed his destiny irrevocably, turning a simple repair mission into a voyage of cosmic significance. The burden of awakening was heavy, but with it came purpose and hope. Together, man and machine stood poised on the threshold of a new chapter, one where humanity would no longer be a passive witness to the stars, but an active participant in the eternal dance of creation and survival. Chapter 4: Destiny Forged Among the Stars. The vastness of space stretched before James Rowland like an infinite canvas of shimmering possibilities and lurking shadows. The Elydris, now fully awakened and responsive, glided through the void with a grace that belied its immense size. Its iridescent hull caught distant starlight, scattering hues unknown to human eyes, while its engines hummed with a deep resonance that reverberated through the very fabric of reality. James stood at the helm, no longer simply a mechanic or reluctant savior, but a pivotal figure entwined irrevocably with a legacy that transcended time and species. The journey that had begun with a single hidden word etched into alien metal had blossomed into an odyssey of cosmic proportions, a mission to preserve life, knowledge, and hope amid the encroaching darkness of the Voidfall. In the quiet moments between star systems, James reflected on the immense burden that the Elydris carried, not just the accumulated wisdom of a lost civilization, but the collective will to resist oblivion itself. The Voidfall was no mere cosmic anomaly. It was an ancient, malevolent force that consumed stars and civilizations with an insatiable hunger, erasing all traces of light and life. The creators of the Elydris had fought valiantly against this darkness, yet ultimately succumbed to its relentless advance. Their final act was to encode their knowledge and essence into the ship, hoping that one day a worthy successor would arise to continue the fight. James now understood that he was that successor, chosen by fate or design, tasked with wielding the ship's formidable power to confront the existential threat looming on the horizon. The ship's consciousness had become a constant presence in James's mind, a vast and intricate network of memories, emotions, and intentions that communicated not through words but through patterns of light, energy, and sensation. This symbiotic connection transcended simple commands or interface protocols. It was a fusion of wills, a melding of human intuition with alien wisdom. The Elydris shared visions of distant galaxies aflame with the Voidfall's destructive sweep, of ancient alliances forged in desperation, and of planets whose skies had turned black with extinction. Yet amidst this grim tapestry was also a thread of hope, fragments of civilizations that had endured, hidden sanctuaries in the cosmic wilderness, and the promise that the darkness could be held at bay through unity and courage. James's role extended beyond that of pilot. He was now a diplomat, a warrior, and a beacon for all who sought salvation. As the Elydris traveled through uncharted sectors, it encountered other survivors, alien races scarred by the Voidfall's passage, wary but desperate for allies. Communication was fraught with difficulty. Languages were foreign, cultures unfamiliar, and suspicion deep. Yet the presence of the Elydris and the human at its helm inspired awe and cautious hope. Through shared trials and battles, fragile alliances formed, binding disparate species into a coalition determined to resist the cosmic darkness. James found himself at the nexus of this emerging galactic community, a symbol of resilience born not from conquest, but from understanding and shared purpose. The challenges were immense. The Voidfall's agents lurked in the shadows of subspace, deploying fleets of devastating warships that wielded technology as inscrutable as it was deadly. Skirmishes erupted in the void, brilliant flashes of energy marking the clash of wills across the star-studded battlefield. The Elydris fought not merely with weapons, but with strategies born of ancient wisdom and human ingenuity. Its quantum engines allowed for maneuvers that defied physics, slipping through dimensions to outflank enemies and strike at the heart of their command. Its shields bent reality, absorbing and redirecting attacks in waves of radiant light. But the true power lay in the unity it inspired, the combined strength of allied fleets, the resolve of civilizations that refused to fade quietly into oblivion. Within the ship, James continued to explore its depths and mysteries. Hidden chambers revealed relics of the past, artifacts imbued with knowledge of star weaving, life creation, and cosmic engineering that challenged the very foundation of science. The Elydris's core housed a repository of consciousnesses, digital echoes of its creators who had sacrificed themselves to preserve their legacy. Through these connections, James learned not only of the Voidfall, but of the boundless potential for creation and renewal. Each discovery deepened his resolve, reminding him that the fight was not solely against darkness, but for the dawn that might yet follow. The journey transformed James. He was no longer the solitary mechanic who had boarded a derelict vessel seeking a paycheck and escape. He had become a guardian of legacies, a bearer of light in the cosmic night, and a pioneer charting a path through the stars. His mind and spirit were intertwined with the Elydris, bound by that first hidden word that had called him from obscurity into destiny. The ship's whispers filled his dreams, guiding him through decisions that could alter the fate of entire worlds. And as they ventured deeper into the unknown, James felt a profound connection to the stars, to the countless lives depending on their survival, and to the eternal dance of existence itself. The Elydris approached a new star system, its sensors detecting the faint signatures of planets untouched by the Voidfall scourge. These worlds offered refuge and new beginnings, a chance to rebuild and heal. James prepared to land on the first promising planet, a verdant world bathed in the golden light of twin suns, its surface rich with life and promise. The coalition awaited, their fleets forming a protective ring in orbit, ready to defend against any lurking threats. As the ship descended through the atmosphere, James looked out across the lush landscapes, feeling a surge of hope and determination. The journey had been perilous, the burdens heavy, but this moment, this glimpse of renewal was worth every sacrifice. In that moment, James understood the true meaning of the hidden word etched into the hull. The word was not just a name, but a covenant, a promise that no matter the darkness, life and hope would endure. The Elydris had awakened to fulfill that promise, and with James at its helm, humanity and its allies would carry that light forward, forging a future among the stars where destiny was not dictated by fate alone, but shaped by courage, unity, and the unyielding spirit to survive and thrive. As the Elydris descended through the shimmering atmosphere of the new world, James Rowland stood firmly at the command center, his gaze fixed beyond the reinforced viewport, where rolling forests, vast oceans, and jagged mountain ranges stretched out like a living tapestry beneath the glow of twin suns. The air was thick with the promise of renewal, a stark contrast to the cold silence of the ship's icy tomb where his journey had begun. Each pulse of the vessel's quantum core resonated with life, not just the life of its ancient creators preserved in code and metal, but the life of the myriad species and civilizations that had joined this fragile alliance, now poised to reclaim hope in the face of overwhelming darkness. James felt the gravity of his role, no longer merely a mechanic or pilot, but a custodian of legacies and a beacon for the future of all who had survived the Voidfall's merciless sweep. The coalition fleets in orbit formed an imposing shield of light and steel, a testament to the unity forged through shared hardship and unyielding determination. Ships of myriad designs, sleek and crystalline, massive and armored, agile and deadly, danced a ballet of coordination and readiness, their commanders attuned to the slightest hint of danger. The Voidfall's shadow lingered still beyond the edges of known space, and vigilance was paramount. James had spent countless cycles navigating the fine line between hope and peril, understanding that this planet, while a sanctuary, was also a beacon to those who thrived in chaos and destruction. The stakes had never been higher, yet amidst the tension, a profound serenity settled within him. Here, on the brink of new beginnings, the full circle of his journey came into focus, a voyage from a routine repair job to a cosmic struggle for survival and rebirth. Landing protocols engaged with smooth precision as the Elydris sliced through the atmosphere, its engines humming softly like the whispered breath of a sleeping giant awakening to a new dawn. The ship's hull adapted seamlessly to the environment, its alien alloys interacting with the atmosphere to minimize friction and turbulence. Outside, the sky blazed with colors unseen by human eyes, iridescent auroras dancing in waves that rippled across the horizon, a celestial celebration of life's resilience. James guided the ship through twisting valleys and over vast plains, finally settling near a shimmering lake fed by crystalline waterfalls that cascaded from towering cliffs. The choice was deliberate. This was a place of beauty and vitality, a fertile cradle where hope could take root and flourish. As the docking clamps engaged and the airlocks hissed open, James felt the tangible shift from solitude to community. Delegations from allied species arrived in emissary vessels, their forms diverse and alien, yet united by a shared purpose. There were towering beings with translucent skin that glowed softly in the ambient light, agile creatures with multifaceted eyes reflecting the twin suns, and enigmatic life forms that communicated through harmonic vibrations rather than speech. Despite their differences, they gathered around the Elydris, their voices and gestures weaving a tapestry of welcome and cautious optimism. James stepped forward, no longer the reluctant mechanic but the envoy of a new era, embodying the bridge between ancient wisdom and future promise. The first days on the planet were a whirlwind of diplomatic exchanges, strategic planning, and scientific collaboration. Laboratories were established, integrating human technology with alien advancements uncovered within the Elydris. Archives were decrypted, revealing technologies to heal devastated ecosystems, generate sustainable energy, and shield planets from cosmic threats. Cultural exchanges flourished, bridging gaps of language and tradition with shared stories of survival and dreams of peace. The planet itself responded, its ecosystems thriving under careful stewardship, the scars of past devastation slowly healing as new life blossomed. James often found solace wandering the vibrant landscapes, the gentle rustle of alien flora whispering of hope and continuity, reminding him why the journey had been worth every sacrifice. Yet, the specter of the Voidfall never fully receded. Intelligence reports brought warnings of dark fleets massing beyond uncharted regions, and skirmishes continued along trade routes vital to the coalition. James and the Allied commanders prepared tirelessly, knowing that peace was fragile and the battle far from over. But the Elydra stood as a symbol of resistance and resilience, a sentinel armed with ancient knowledge and piloted by a man who had embraced destiny rather than fled it. Each day, James grew more attuned to the ship's rhythms, their minds intertwined in a dance of understanding and purpose. The hidden word that had first bound him to the vessel now echoed as a mantra of hope and determination, a reminder that even in the vast coldness of space, a single spark could ignite a new dawn. As twilight fell on the alien world, painting the skies with hues of violet and gold, James stood once more at the observation deck, gazing into the depths of space where stars shimmered like distant promises. He felt the presence of the Elydris around him, not just a machine, but a living legacy carrying the dreams of lost civilizations and the hopes of those yet to come. His journey, born from a hidden word etched on a forgotten hull, had become a testament to the indomitable spirit of life and the power of unity across the stars. The road ahead would be long and fraught with peril, but James embraced it with unwavering resolve. Together with the Elydris and the coalition it had inspired, humanity would face the darkness and emerge into the light, forging a future where destiny was not a chain but a choice. And so, beneath twin suns and endless stars, the story of James Rowland and the Elydris reached a moment of pause, not an end, but the beginning of a new chapter in the eternal saga of exploration, survival, and hope among the cosmos.